Hey, how are you? Well, my name is LeeRoy, and this is day 4 of the vloggery thing. So I just wanted to, I'm switching it up a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to start off with, things that I did in my craft, with my craft, that I feel helped or assisted me in acquiring certain roles or positions that I was going for. And then, I'll mix that in with what roles and stuff that I had landed, and also how they translated or transformed into other relationships. And then at the end, some of the things that I had to overcome from then to now and still, and in the hopes that some of my experiences or things that I may have learned or gone through can help someone else out there in some way or other. Yeah, I guess that's about it. If you don't know the backstory, the groundwork, you can check out my overview synopsis thing of this on the page, or go back to the first video one. Anyways, without further ado, I just wanted to start off as well with this thing that I printed out and I put it on my mirror. And I think it's a nice little thing to remember, or try and live by the best that you can. Since I've been reading the Four Agreements, that's also been kind of really helping me kind of viewpoints and stuff of that nature as well. It's a pretty good book so far. I'm enjoying it. And, it really took me a full day, to be honest with you, when I just kind of thought about 2012, because I did so much that I'm not really positive how I achieved what I did in terms of how much I did. I forgot to mention 2011, I had also landed, I think this was my very, very, very first one, was Blemished Light. Now my scene got cut, and it was with the principal, one of the leads of the film. And that was, I think, the feature film release in India. That's all right though. I mean, that's how it is, that's what happens. And I'm sure many of you out there have already experienced it once, and if not, it does not discriminate. That's a promise. I also did a Marilyn Monroe project. It was for a slot machine game. I just wanted to put this photo up just because it was fun. But it was a pretty fun event. And then I had Dirty Laundry as well. That was at the end. That was toward the winter, and that actually I wound up meeting and working with Eternal Lion Studios, because the fight coordinator was with that group, and it was a student project. But I went for it because it was going to offer me footage that I could use for more mainstream submissions, those action roles and stuff of that nature. And another thing came out of that too was I wound up training with Tough Guys New York. It was Filipino MMA, and I didn't do it for that long, but I did get that taste of it, that experience, and both a professional and a personal relationship came out of it. I actually just spoke to 2 of the founders today, just because we're friends, but also work on a professional level as well. And given their innovation and their drive and their every other word that I can't think of right now that's the right word, they are. And it's good to be with those types of people, especially if you are the same type, because you can help each other. And it came from something small. It didn't pay, didn't even get finished, but something longer, it came out of it. In 2012, I had apparently racked in 40 auditions and 29 jobs, and 12 to 15 were either principal or day player or something of that nature. I had 11 promo gigs that I'll get into a little bit later as well. Thank you cards very important, because that shows people that you care and that you're grateful for the opportunity that you got, even if you didn't land the role, especially if you didn't land the role. And it keeps you on the radar, but also you show that attitude of gratitude. And that's a very good way to be. The website. One thing I did as quickly as I could when I was able to afford it was I got a website, and I got the builder and stuff so that I could do it myself. I could control the content, what's on there, when it's on there, when it's updated. And that took a while. That took quite a little bit of time, because you have to really think about it, the layout, what's going to be the most appealing. If you get a builder that's easy enough and simple enough, you can do world loads of things with it. Just research what's the cheapest and go within your price range, but don't underestimate it, because it's Facebook and all that stuff that's become so not only saturated, but it's not a professional website. And the fact that there's a lot of advertising and promoting and stuff on Facebook, I think, especially to either newcomers or younger generations, that they feel like that can be used as a professional thing as well. But you look much better if you have your own website, domain, etc. And it also gives directors and producers and casting directors, agents, a place to go to see all your material in one place. Don't get too super creative. I did that, and it just made me look not very professional. I thought it was creative, and I thought it was showing that I have creativity, but it took me a long time to realize it, but I do now. So I hope I can pass that bit along to somebody before they have to wait so long like I did. From April to September, I began working as a studio assistant to an acting studio in Midtown in conjunction with the Actors Studio. And it was such a wonderful experience. And I did that through, I think somebody referred me, or somebody forwarded an email to me, and it was people looking for volunteers, or interns. And I went in as that, but then next thing you know, I'm working my way up, and I'm pulling in interns between 12 and I guess at least close to 20, training these people, giving these people tasks, interviewing them, kind of making everything run. And then I was also the head of coordinating the industry nights, making all the phone calls, personal phone calls to top tier agents, casting directors, managers, and setting all this stuff up for the studio. So again, that gave me another direct, hello, how are you doing this? I'm so-and-so. And not pitching myself, but just through that indirect, interaction. And direct, but indirect, of them knowing who you are. And, it gave me a great sense of responsibility and purpose and worth. And sometimes headache as well, but that comes with the territory always for anything that's worth it. It came from that commitment of knowing that I need to keep in my training, I need to keep working at it, and I need to keep just keep up with my craft. From that, I got Wicked Attractions. That was my first television thing. That was a guest starring role. Wicked Attractions was out of town. It was through my agent in Virginia, and I was flown down, put up in a nice hotel. It was awesome. She's a sweetheart. She's one of the best. And I think that should also go with saying with agents and managers that, a lot of times we get wrapped up with just, I gotta have something, I gotta have one, I gotta say that I gotta have one so that I can say that I have one. But then if you don't have one that's working for you, or that's not passionate about getting you work, or believes in you, or, don't get it twisted. It's still business. You're there to make them money, and that's your job. And if the goods that you are bringing are not being accepted, you got to find out why. Why? What is it? If it's not something that's obvious, you know. And that's difficult as well because you don't get those feedbacks from casting. So much of it is out of their hands too. Like, it can truthfully be something that was up that nobody had control over. But if there is something, you know, it's good to find that out. But if you don't have one that believes in you or working for you, then it's just the same as if you don't have one. So be careful with that. Don't let your want and monetary need to, or momentary need to have this, because you think it's gonna establish you, or it's gonna, you know, vindicate you, or whatever it may be, because it won't. I know I've had a couple long inserts before, and you know, my craft, Tough Guys, New York, the MMA stuff, Filipino MMA, that was part of also the training, the working out, the sit-ups, maintaining my body the way that it should look for those types of roles and characters. And we're going to cut it there because we've got 2 more inserts. And you know, with my personal stuff, catch me on the part 2. I got it set up for that. All right, I'll let you. 1.